the funny thing, is that Asian female drivers statistically aren't even that bad, right? They're actually pretty good, but with extra Emily being put on display, she is not helping the stereotypes.
Go for distracted driving, and I clearly understand.
Completely understand my fucking balls. This is like the third time she's been banned for the same thing since 2023. That's it.
She really needs to take it all and stop driving. She promised 2 years ago she'd get better. She promised 2 years ago she'd get better. She promised 2 years ago she'd get better. She promised a week ago she'd get better. I don't believe it. I'm sorry. I don't believe it. Stop driving. Especially on screen. Stop driving. You cannot be trusted. If you actually gave a fuck about the top man, you would get off the screen. You're just not gonna. You have to accept that.
It's drastic measures. You're banned from my local TNT.
Okay, the underground edition.
Wild because it's very dangerous, and I want to learn from my mistake and do better in the future. So from now on, I'm going to try to minimize the amount of driving that I'm doing on screen and
Minimize the amount of driving. How about you just stop driving? You are a multi-millionaire. Hire an Uber for $20. You know, get back to your shadow. Probably Uber drive. Support your common man and make the road safer. Just hire a chauffeur.
I'm probably going to, I'm definitely going to have the chat off, and I just want to do better and not make the same mistake again.
Again. Watch the fucking have accountability. This is zero accountability.
Again.
3 strikes and you're out, lady. I know you
That's the 7 strikes.
don't understand mean ball, but I will honor you. No, but seriously, you can't make it up. All of her bans are for texting while driving, running red lights. They're all like vehicle-related incidents.
So, I do feel really bad for being distracted and, you know, not being safe on the road. And I totally what the heck, like what is happening? But I'm learning from it, and I want to just be better.
She's learning from it. A 30-year-old woman has taken 3 years to stop being on her phone. I bet you she will be doing the exact same thing in less than a year.
And not
Gooner Dan must love her. Oh, well, why don't I tell you how much Gooner Dan loves her? So, in back of, I think it was TwitchCon 2024, I believe Mizkif or Austin Show was running an event that I was a part of. I did an art segment where I had to paint Russell. Will Neff was back there. Some other top streamers were back there. And Extra Emily and Emeru were back there. Brother, he did not talk to a single other universe. And then P. Lowell was also back there. He can vouch for this. Dan Clancy was talking to Emeru and Extra Emily exclusively. I went to talk to him. I was met with a one-word response. There was another male streamer, Russell, who went to go talk to him. He was met with a laugh and a one-word response. And then he went to continue to talk to Emeru and Extra Emily. I'm telling you, this guy is a fucking coomer, and the only thing he cares about is female attention. It is embarrassing. As a 70-year-old CEO of our company with a fucking wife, how much preferential treatment he gives women. It's embarrassing.
that again.
4,
so
3,
I will
2,
not be. I'll probably not. I won't be driving on stream for like.
all you need to do is
This
capture the
lady
mission
can do
area.
all this, but
Got
I
it?
drink 17 beers and the officers are mad at me for some reason. And that
I want to remind you, Asian Andy has been banned permanently for 9 years so far because he ate chicken nuggets and drove on stream. He's been permanent banned for 9 years.
That's the thing. This lady is a LARP.
9 years.
Like the ditzy retard, but in reality, she's actually very intelligent.
Graduate from Columbia. Yeah, but you could have went like an ID like couldn't you have something else in the world?
Because I stream during work.
This building ain't the only thing special. I can make all the jokes I want, but this lady brainbogs me. I don't care if this gets me blackballed. Never working with this.
Oh, Lakari. sorry. Hilarious.
Content creators. This person is 28, and I
Yep.
tried shooting them some mail, and it turns out this happened multiple times.
Yep.
Lord, if there's one
Don't
thing
mess
I
with the
see that
amazing
Hollywood is
Spider-Man.
right, it's fake streamers who put themselves first. You can just stop at streamers. Bottom of the barrel. Boom. YouTubers. Aw. Anyway, let's get back to the point. Extra Emily.
Thank you for the 200 bits. I mean, 200 gifted.
You're telling me she almost gets...
The Cosmos heals.
Brother, that's it? In case you're wondering, I had a stream the other day where I was given $1,600 over the course of the stream. Okay? And I went to go watch Extra Emily's apology. If you'll notice, these are about the same day, July 2nd, July 3rd. I saw this clip because I saw her thing. Thanks for joining me. I made this video because seeing how ungrateful and how small of a deal they make it when somebody gives you, I'd like to remind you, 200 gifted, that's $1,000 fucking dollars. Thanks for the 1,000.
Get ready.
I feel better already.
Brother, that's it. They just gave you $1,000 fucking dollars. Thanks. Holy shit. Show some fucking gratitude for like 15 fucking seconds. Like this, dude, this is like some people's weak pay. I'm sorry, bro. Ungrateful streamers who make it donors subscribe to these things.
I am ready to put on a show.
I get money all the time. But seeing these people this ungrateful subscribe to these things.
Gets into a crash.
By the eye of Agamotto.
Gives her like $1,000. Unbelievable.
Keep going.
Was what? $1,000 in 2 weeks of the year? I feel like $50,000 is like a year average pay in the United States. I have those
Heals.
50,000 average
Second
pay a year,
chances
huh?
over.
Yeah, 50,000 a year is the average median pay of working Americans. Dude, that's a pretty reasonable estimate. I don't know. Yeah, that's near average median pay. Anyways, we're back.
I'm doing the wrong thing with my life.
A driving
So many
portion.
misguided souls. The
Feel free
Cosmos
to
heals you.
CPS the messages, and then we can gap through that, kind of like what we did in the Canada road trip. So,
Look at her sub count going up every second. It's like nice to that because they're not monster turkey.
a good point that my friends.
You know what I've noticed? Left-leaning content creators are far more ungrateful for the money because they're sponsor-friendly. And conservative content creators aren't sponsor-friendly, so they thank all of their support. It's the truth. Dude, left-leaning content creators are ungrateful as fuck because they know money's gonna keep coming. But people who actually speak the truth and aren't brand-friendly, bro, they are always grateful as fuck. That's what I've noticed in comments. Like Kears had a stream like this.
Don't mess with the amazing Spider-Man.
Brought up to me, it's like what I show on stream, like maybe I don't feel it, but sometimes I can be like a role model for people, right? And I don't want to be a role model for the wrong thing.
Cosmos
Done.
heals.
Nowhere yet. Going to overtime.
God help. Make God help.
Maybe on the age of 12 looks at her as a role model. Oh boy.
It tells me like things that I need to improve on as a person, and just don't make the same mistake in the future and be safe on the road. So that's the goal. Yes. But yeah, I did a lot of nice thinking the past 2 days.
Do you know how easy it is to math text and drive? Just put your fucking phone down. It's so easy.
And things need to change.
You don't have to change anything, Queen.
That's why I use code KEERS for 10% off my gamer stuff. You can also use
Perfection
code
is
BALL
unattainable,
for 10%
but
off
that
as
should
well.
not stop
Gamer
us
Stuff
from
is a
trying to
huge
achieve
supporter
it.
of the channel. Yeah, if you get gamer stuff, code BALDY 10% off, bro.
Your haters, they're just incels. Now, speaking of incels, even Texo chimed in. Can you imagine dying on this?
That was hilarious.
When I see someone
There you
with
go.
powers like yours, I think,
Still,
I mean,
still in
how
prison,
can I
by the way.
compare?
You know, there's people who literally think I'm in jail right now. It's actually fucking hilarious. It's like, brother, I haven't even been contacted by the police. You know, it's like, damn, bro. There's people who literally think I'm in jail.
Battle
God,
starts in
you have to be
5,
so fucking
4,
stupid to actually
3,
think that.
Three, because you got hit by a Twitch streamer reacting to a $2 donation.
capture the
Twitch
mission
Plus
area.
fan streaming and driving.
Luckily, my Genshin Impact baddies aren't old enough to get a license. But at least they're fiction. Also, just in, go westjet.shop. Buy the new official Jail Tone merch. And use code JAILTONE for 10% off. God, I love anime.
The best thing is 0% of the profits are going to Texas. So go ahead, limited time only, guys. Lock in. Do we?
I want to make sure you guys know that now, I'm going to go even further. I didn't even know he was going to do that. I want to let you know, he never contacted me. He never asked me. And I want to remind you, what WestJet did is illegal. I found out about this in my mod chat. And I was gonna go off on WestJet for doing that shit.
Safe now, my friend.
And I said, you know what? He lives in India. He's poor. He's broke. Hey man, if you want to support WestJet and buy a t-shirt, you absolutely can.
I am ready
No,
to
no.
put on a show.
I don't care. I actually think it's hilarious. I do. But yes, WestJet, I will say, I like the guy. I am taking 0% of proceeds. Feel free to go to that. Now, I will say, I am going to be releasing merch myself soon. So if you want to wait for that, you can. Because I ain't gonna lie, that shirt is dog shit. But yes, WestJet literally broke the law.
You made me do this.
To make that t-shirt. I do have grounds to sue him, but I'm not going to. And you want to know why? Because low-key is funny. WestJet, WestJet is a WestJet is a poor Indian living in India. So yes, it's the least I can say. You're welcome, by the way, Jet.
Mama, even the debunker chimed in.
Next time, put your Genshin baddies on the t-shirt.
Don't mess with the amazing Spider-Man!
Definitely gonna have the chat off. I just want to do better and not make the same mistake again at the 10th. So
This is not for you.
I don't believe it. Brother, no, I will show you. I'm being dead ass. Yes, it is highly illegal under Texas law using a content creator's name, image, or likeness to sell or promote merchandise without their written consent violates their right of publicity. Bro, he literally lives in India. He says this all the time. Why do you think I call him West G?
Yo, Jack, you know what? Jack, I'm just gonna say extra Emily driving. I'm just nearly causes a disaster. Driving recklessly.
You've done this before as well. You had a red light.
Yo, I know the clip of my stream because I'm the only one who actually watches it. Jack, isn't that kinda sad? If I don't debunk, nobody debunks it.
God, I want XTC to debunker all over me. Literally, it ain't that hard. Ladies, don't read chat when you drive. Yeah, like straight up suspended for breaking the law. Bad thing.
This woman almost ended a family of 4 because she was reading chat.
All right, family of 4, let's chill out, guys. We don't know that she's just 40 feet. Ain't no way she said, yeah, I'll just drive left on stream. And that's just bad streaming and driving Twitch, period. Minimize. You don't deserve a platform. I'm not one to call for a permanent ban of somebody, but like, bro, you had 3 chances to fix your...
I'm sorry, the key defenders, I actually use these shoes on. If these motherfuckers cannot learn to stop making law, just ban them. Listen, I think Extra Emily's a good person, but like, she's a dancer on the roads. Straight up. It's not worth the risk. She needs to not be allowed to drive, period.
behavior, and it looks like it's not going anywhere. Also, I won't lie to y'all, I got a distracted driving ticket myself before for like $400. You know, somehow a Black Boy Max song came on my shuffle, so I had to switch the song, and the officer caught me doing it. They got a...
I do those jokes. Let's just too funny. He's Too funny.
My boy Asian Andy, he's been banned for 9 years for eating chicken nuggets. So obviously it's not because she's Asian, it's because she's a woman. Twitch is never beating the Gooner CEO allegations. Almost someone, 1 day ban. Call someone fat, 14-day ban. Twitch.
Hey, that's What is going on here where
The
Mark
right heroes could
Rubio
make
is
all
now
the
going
difference.
after him?
Communism may finally have consequences, as
Wouldn't that be
Secretary of
nice?
State Marco Rubio is clamping down on communism in our country.
Is now investigating Piker and Code Pink, who hosted his trip to Cuba. The feds are looking at funding for the trip, which some.
Ooh, not looking good. Turns out Hassan breaking the law is not good. And no, they're not just doing this because you're a streamer. You're doing this because you fucked around, and now you're finding out.
Some think is tied to the Chinese Communist Party. The Trump administration wants to know if Piker and Code Pink violated U.S. laws and sanctions in support of Cuba's communist government.
Ooh, maybe we shouldn't do that.
In addition, Rubio has terminated the legal status of Cuban operatives, with the feds detaining 3 of them, notably Yoga Dominguez, who's affiliated with the Cuban Institutes of Friendship with the People, the same group that helped organize trips.
Yeah, if you as an American citizen are helping out our enemies, you should absolutely be held for treason. And I can't wait for Hassan to be subpoenaed.
With Code Pink to come visit Cuba. That one group that went to Cuba with Hassan. And honestly, we all assumed it was a propaganda tour, but it's difficult to probe the difference between useful idiots and foreign paid-for operatives.
It absolutely was a propaganda tour. Absolutely. Everything Hassan does is just to say America better already. Buddy Slack says, if I get redneck as fuck tonight, grill some steak and shoot guns. Safely, have a lot of vets in my family, and don't forget the fireworks selfie day today. God bless you. Have fun.
Now we shouldn't assume anything necessarily about Hassan, except even he thinks this means he's going to prison.
Good.
I have several other Cuban organizations responsible for engaging in subversive.
Free me, Chad. Free me. I can't believe I'm saying this. Free me. Hassan, everybody in America is shocked that you're still in here. You're a part-American terrorist-supporting piece of shit. Everyone knows it.
Anti-American activity. I don't understand why they're covering this as like the organization that sent Hassan Piker to Cuba. Well, Trump is president. I swear to God, what the hell is going on? What the heck? In 1930s, we have the State Department is like actively pursuing some group that I guess like was also a part of the humanitarian aid mission that we did in Cuba that I didn't even know about.
And maybe he invaded.
What's crazy is he admitted to that like 2 weeks after the stream, and now he's saying, "Oh, well, I have no idea, brother. You admitted to that on stream."
As maybe
His uncle likes to pleasure animals. I know. St. Peter did say he loves pleasuring animals. It is quite strange. Did you know his grandparents were farmers?
genuinely in the dark. Or maybe the fact that when he was simply subpoenaed, not even charged, or just someone they wanted to question, and he already seemed to think he was going to prison, makes me believe there's something he definitely doesn't understand. As he's already suggesting his arrest would be politically motivated. As Gold says, for all of us, this is what we voted for.
We are now one step closer to Hassan going to jail.
Finally, bro.
Armed and dangerous!
Un-American Thank you, bro. It has been so long. You're shocked, brother. Let's get this shit the fuck done.
Oh no, a post by the secretary.
The people or ICAP who do this rather than the first economies in the United States and across the hemisphere. ICAP is a premier influence in the intelligence group.
Now might be the time to stop them.
Promote anti-American propaganda.
See when I fucked around and now that I'm finding out? Oh, wow. If it isn't the consequence of my own actions.
Is Marco Rubio actually the guy who dismantle these groups? Because as a Cuban American,
he has my vote, he has America's vote, he has everyone's vote. Let's get this shit done. Deport and jail Hassan Piker. He doesn't even deserve to be put in American jail. Deport him and put him in a Muslim jail. I always like that.
he probably has like a very unique taste for these people.
Damn it, never falls!
Maybe Marcus Rubio can be our salvation.
Marcus Rubio.
Like, if Marco runs, I'm gonna vote for him.
Yep.
As previously, we wouldn't have jailed simply disagreeing with this.
I think for the next election, so it's what? I think the 3 best forerunners for our president next term right now is Marco Rubio at number 1. This one's controversial. I actually like J.D. Vance right now. He's like the best. Like, he brings a lot of good things that I want. He's going to focus a lot on putting a lot of our money into AI, which I think is a very good idea. But he's not quite as good as Marco Rubio. I think Hunter Biden is also a promising candidate, too. Those are the best of the 3 right now. I think Marco Rubio is number 1 right now.
Reckon they took Trump in for
Emperor Marco Rubio.
shot just so they can claim the stupid talking point of how can you be pro law and order while supporting a felon? The Democrats officially made lawfare just part of politics. Not to mention these charges aren't about building valuations. This is about foreign agents, designated enemies of the state, potentially purchasing influence in American elections.
Yes, giving a designated enemy of our country money, support, financial aid. Yeah, should be held in treason, 1,000,000%.
But now, Hassan frames this as urgent and ending endless wars.
Yeah.
Window. People treat you like the villain because everybody thinks you electrocuted your coach. Or at the very least, get unreasonably angry when she briefly stands up during your 8-hour live stream. Not to mention how this rich kid constantly sings for socialism, celebrates when his side finally votes it.
Wow, he's with the terrorist mayor. What a fucking shock. The 2 worst people you know in the same photo, laughing it up, best friends. Someone posted a photo of him with Hassan on his Instagram. Jesus.
But in NYC, who then Amir?
Hunter Biden roll, 1 hell nah. Did he give you a sag of his crack roll? Love him about. I thought it was so funny. There was this video of Hunter Biden. He was talking about like, yeah, I made a lot of mistakes. Like, I was on cocaine. That's my excuse. What's yours? You're just an idiot. Like, I'm sorry, bro. Anybody who's that honest, I'm just trying to give you my top 3, bro. I thought it was so funny. Like, yeah, I had a cocaine fix. I was retarded, but I'm so funny.
For the peasants.
I for the content presidents. The content presidents or the ones who are actually going to get shit done. Hey, listen, anything that a female president, anything that a female president.
Business owner, please set your thermostats to 78 degrees to alleviate the stress on our power.
Meanwhile, setting his thermostats at 54.
While the mayor encouraged residents to keep air conditioned settings. This is real firepower! Following his own advice. Near posts the mayor thermometer next to City Hall and found that nearly every area of the building is cooler than the mayor's 78-degree mandate.
People keep on.
Wow. So Joe said all business owners are 78. Keeps his shit at 54. That is so even me, I keep my upstairs at 75. Okay, it's nice. Now, what is it? I keep my bedroom at 62. And that shit is nice. That shit is nice. 54? You're out of your fucking mind.
On this, the warmth of collectivism, but I just see it as a sum of stupidity. It's not like...
It's the same thing, dude. Dude, Mamdani and Hassan are the same. All business owners, you keep your temperature at 78. He keeps his at 54. Hassan, oh, guys, dude. Like, wow, we just want to get everybody the same treatment. Lives in a multi-million-dollar mansion wearing $30,000 of outfits. These people are completely fraudulent. They're complete frauds. They do not practice what they preach.
We don't have endless examples of socialism resulting in the elites
The
and
right heroes could make all
Okay.
the difference.
You want proof of my thermostat? 75 degrees, because I really am that good of a guy. Hey, don't worry, man. I stand with UK. We got to get this country back. It's the AC that's the problem, obviously. Keep going there.
I was born to change humanity. Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Highline, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. And here's the meme of the day, brought to you by 5mind.com. Holy freaking moly, folks. This Caleb Hammer guy, Mr. Financial Audit, I gotta tell you, he's a real gift from God. It's a very interesting phenomenon because I don't think this guy ever set out to become some kind of anti-woke warrior. Frankly, I don't think he ever had any intentions of being political whatsoever. He just wanted to essentially
And you always act like you don't appreciate it. The battle starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to the most professional StarCraft 2, with arguably the #1 player in the history of North America, the Canadian Zerg in the blue. We have Star facing off against the only other player who could be included in that conversation, the 3-time WCS champion and the best player ever from the United States of America, the Protoss in the red. It's Neeb in a best-of-5 Protoss versus Zerg showdown. No, it's not 2019, it's 2026, and this is the $20,000 Do You Legends Cup tournament. And before we get started, it'd be incredible if you could smash that like button. Maybe. Subscribe. Some kind of the algorithm. Give me the yes, real. 1,871 likes on this video and this class. And I'll cast another one. And I'll probably do that because I don't. What else I can do with that? But thank you for watching. Hopefully, you've had a good day so far. And hopefully it's about to get just a little bit better. As Neeb comes out of retirement in order to school Scott on the new path. I don't know if it's a blessing or a curse that the game will change so dramatically just about a week before this tournament. As, well, this is the top 4 of originally 16 players, including those like Innovation, NTY, and all of that. So, clearly playing enough to fight his way through, despite the fact that many Protoss have been struggling. So I think Neeb has always been a little bit different and arguably a little bit better. And we'll see how much he's played on the new patch and already starting things up. Apparently not enough to stop 2 Zerglings from getting into his base. And 1 probe will suffer the price. But he did deflect the original drone and block the natural. Scarlet forced into the 3rd. The Adepts get into the main. Neeb built his career off of Adepts. And is starting off strong already with 2 kills. Scarlet delayed the Zergling speed ever so slightly. Or maybe that's just how late it is. This is before the hotfix patch, but after the buff to Larva and the rework of Orb Kick. So, arguably a little bit better for Zerg than it would even be a few days after this. But still, 8 workers to start, though we've clearly moved past that point. Neeb with 31. That pylon wall is certainly interesting. Is it good? Is it bad? Hero? Some thoughts? This will be the first time. A gateway wall, and what a save! The 2 pylons blocking the Adept in literally the last possible second. How much HP on that Adept? 2. 1 more than he needed. And now the Void Ray lights up. The Overlord is burnt out. Scarlet hard supply blocked. 49 over 48 with no Overlords on the way. And another Adept gets in the main. The Zerglings across the map. That's going to be maybe 1 more drone kill. And a lot of mining time lost. Make that 2. Somehow the Adept gets the extra range and fires off the shot. Scarlet at 37 drones. And Neeb, so far, has just lost 2 Adepts in the process. He just takes a 3rd. 5 minutes in. Not, in the grand scheme of things, not particularly quick.
Born
but
again.
definitely on the quicker side of things, considering he has 1 Oracle, 1 Void Ray, and 2 Adepts. And one of those Adepts is, Well, not feeling so good after all this. This Adept might feel even worse. Gonna kite back just a little. Oracle in the main. Scarlet looking the other way. Stasis catches a few drones. Not too great, not too terrible. Still, a little bit of economic damage. And it's a bit annoying. Oh, of course. Glaive Adepts. The more things change, the more things stay the same. Neeb, who I think if anyone could be credited, oh, you ran out of it. In his old age, not realizing that. Okay, well, he's like 27. But 29. I don't know. Calm down. How's your back? Neeb, I don't know if I already mentioned it, so that's my age, but going back to school after retiring pretty much near the top of his game. Not after winning WCS, but still doing well. I believe he won the North American League in 2022 is when he decided to pursue other knowledge, like, you know, the more conventional version. But clearly been practicing, and clearly Scarlet caught off guard so far. She's got a Roach one on the way. We've got Evolution Chamber nearly completed. But it's 54 to 57 workers in favor of Neeb, who's been chrono boosting probes. The Adepts, 50 shades with Glaives, always dangerous. And always remarkably hard to scout when your opponent has a very active star. So 10 Roaches on the way, and behind it, a fleet beacon. Neeb is going from Adepts to Mothership. Or at least something along those lines, which, you know, why not? It's a new patch, it's a new opportunity, and he has much fresher strategies, I think, than almost anyone else who's been trying to, you know, play the last one, at least regularly. And honestly, I think there's no better opportunity to actually see something new from a pretty competent player that isn't just a worse version of something we've seen before. And I'm not talking about Hero, because Hero, there's no version of anything. But a lot of Protoss and Terran especially, but also Zerg, just have tried to fit a square peg in a trapezoid hole with the new patch. Instead of, you know, trying to debate the idea of what is a peg in touch? Questions that your mother asks on a regular basis. So, a Mothership is on the way. 2 Stargates behind it. And, well, a transition from Adept Glaives directly into Sky Toss while still throwing shade across the map. The Hydralisk Den is nearly completed for Scarlet. And Hydras are pretty good against Adepts. The numbers really matter. What Phoenix? In this economy? Huh. Well, Hydras are quite good against Phoenix, make no mistake. Hydras are debatable as an anti-air unit, but Phoenixes are not nearly as strong against Mass Hydra. Again, it's a numbers game. Okay, this is just a spreadsheet in disguise as the Oracle is taken down on the backside. Neeb trying to take the 4th base, which should be a little bit suspicious for the Roach Hydra composition, as there's no reason Neeb has... The fact that Neeb has gases at the third, it's just Adepts. He's aiming for Adepts. Scarlet might not have gotten the scout on the fleet beacon, but she knows that nothing else has come across the map, and there's clearly no Teflon. And the unit composition is surprisingly sparse. So I'm not surprised to see more drones, to see an infestation pit for potentially Hive, or just infestors, because it's probably a Mothership. Scarlet is a much more... While the game she's Balanced designer of, no, not this one, so you can have your conspiracy theories, but Zero Space is releasing next month, or this month. What year is it? July 20th of 2026. Zero Space is releasing into early access, and Scarlet is the Balanced designer. But for now, I'm going to try to tilt the balance of Zerg versus Protoss. And I said that Phoenixes are not so good against the Hydras. But if the Hydras are staring them directly in the face because the Phoenix is lifted up into the sky, well, that's how they end up in the unit's lost tab. The Adept Shade in the main. Neeb kept them alive, waiting for an opportunity. And the Queens are not going to be enough to deal with this quickly. Maybe not deal with it at all. Neeb has his Mothership by Phoenix composition The Phoenix is looking for another opportunity to get damage done. But really, I guess it's not about how many drones you lose, but about how many you can replace them. As Scarlet, at 83 drones to 79, loses 12 and plummets to a worker lead. The Phoenixes are almost out of energy to murder drones. A mass recall, pulling some of the units to the front line, using the mothership as a super warp gate, and picks up, knocks down a few more drones, so Scarlet has expanded her lead, obviously. You might think, wow, 14 drones now. Scarlet's now up by 10. Because of course she is. And no, is there even a Spire? What? It's clearly Sky Toss. Hydras, this is more of a Hydra risk, but then snipes the mothership. The time warp will make it a little bit harder to retreat, but that's just too many Hydras. Neeb leaving the mothership out, which, of all the things, and, well, without the mothership to provide both that tankiness and potentially cloak, just generally, the mothership is a pretty good damage dealer with the sheer amount of beams it fires off at the Hydras. It's a real DPS unit ever since we added 4 beams instead of 1. Who would have thought? 3 carriers are on the way, but they have yet to arrive. There's Void Rays, which are also mediocre in this situation. A carrier with half its interceptors will have to retreat. Another ship on the way. The Adept's gonna shade into the midst of everything. Deep gonna try to pick this apart before he has no opportunity to. The Hydra's not yet at a critical mass. Picks up a few more. The Phoenix is getting targeted down. The Void Ray's doing the damage. +1 attack is done. The Hydra's melting away. The Roaches are also here. The Void Rays down to 3, but the Hydra count is just not high enough. And the carriers and mothership behind and Tempest on the way need putting together the Sky Toss composition, but there are 22 Hydra-less in production. Scarlet with a massive supply lead. She's got 95 drones. Does she have the Hydra lunge? No. Of all the players to miss out on that upgrade, Scarlet does not like sitting back and turtling. This is an economic game. She's trying to play 300 supply Zerg, where you refill as quick as possible. Neeb is playing 150 supply Protoss, but he doesn't need to. 2,300 minerals in the bank. But he's still gonna fight heads up. The second mothership, this one a lot better protected. Targeting down, but a couple Archons out in front with overwhelming amounts of power. They absorb so much damage, and Scarlet is driven back. The Golden Armada, this time coming together. And Neeb driving the Zerg off the high ground and all the way back across the map. Storm is on the way. At some point, you need the Storm. It's not an option. Until this point, the Sky Toss and the Gateway units have been enough. But Scarlet knows what she's dealing with now. And she has the economy to just overrun. And the only way is splash damage to deal with the sheer tide of Zerg that's going to be rolling in. Now, this is a bit of an awkward set of rocks here that choke this off. Trying to get, well, not necessarily trying to get rid of the Roaches and things, but using a relatively small amount of supply in order to deny bases. Warping in 10. Charge blocks? Yes, they have charge. They have +1. +2 air weapons is on the way. The charge blocks on hold position, which is pretty good. The Zerglings have +1 carapace and extra commands, which they're nibbling with dentures right here. More like methlings at this point. Dark Shrine on the way. A Shrine to Dark. Who's coming back to us in a few months? Speaking of players returning. But he's confirmed it. And he's even looking for a team actively before he even comes back, which is just good planning. But a Nidus network. 3 lurkers. Scarlet shifting into the long-range siege. But incredibly notable, and somewhat concerningly, there is no Spike. And without it, eventually, the Fist of Neeb. If you remember, many years ago, hard to forget something like that, Neeb with a 199 supply Golden Armada army, winning, I want to say it was against Scarlet, it may have been Serral, it was a high-profile Zerg. 3 carriers to defend. What a proportional response to Skarlet with 30 or 40 supplies. And on the left side, abducts a carrier, barely kills it. What will it cost? Almost everything. The lurkers are still underneath as there's no detection with the army. Observers on the way. Templar gets shredded. And I gotta calm down. The game should be slowing down, but Skarlet is slowing up. The Queens are now right outside the base as the creep is extending across the majority of the map. Skarlet consuming it. The creep spread might be a bit slower, but Skarlet has never been slow about it. Yanks it 2 more. Get over here. And completely knocked down. The mass recall brings some of the reinforcements. The carriers from the other side. Yanks in another one. Queens will try to knock it down. They will be successful. An optimistic storm. I think that's going to kill more interceptors than it does Zerg. Consuming a very valuable base. Completely dry on the interceptor. Zerglings on the other side. A big working on a knee will defend the base for now. A Nidus at the very back. The cannon should be able to take it out in time. But the mothership, 9 kills. Neve is at 160 supplies. Skarlet is maxed out with money in the bank. But again, she has just Hydras, which is apparently enough. If you keep yanking out another carrier at a time. DTs warped in order to defend, which gives away the fact that DTs are an option at this stage, though I believe the Overseer scouted it either way. The Hydra's hitting the 5th base. Skarlet keeping pressure on to the north, while Neve is struggling to defend the south. So far, Skarlet just overwhelming Neve's defenses, despite the inspired strategy and the lack of Spire from Skarlet. It's not, instead of spiraling out of control, Skarlet is starting to lock this down. Though, as long as Neve has 4 bases, at least for the next few minutes, though the main base gas is mining out, he needs a 5th. Desperately. And the fact that Skarlet has been mining despite consuming, clearly, many of those buildings. The fact that Skarlet has been mining comfortably at the gold base, that is not a half map base. There's only 1 gold base on this map, and Skarlet is already like 50% of the way through mining it. Another Nidus at the back. The DTs and charge lots are actually eviscerating the Roach Hydra. But eventually the numbers are there, the reinforcements. The Hydra's in a precarious position. Those Templar are deadly. The storm slides out. Where's the Hydra lunge? He's got it done, but it's such a finicky ability to use.
Battle starts in 5.
Meanwhile, the Hydra laying over to the right side. Only cannons to defend. And that's going to be barely a stopgap. The carriers will move in to support them. Some charge lots warped in as well. The tactical Nidus lunges away. Skarlet over to the left. Eve has to know this is a probability. And there it is. The feedbacks on the Vipers gets all 3. A single abduct. I don't even know if it hit anything. And Neve shuts it down. And now the carriers have driven back the Hydras over to the right flank. The Hydra's getting chased, harried by the carriers. A single one very optimistically gonna chase them. The speed zone's helping out. Skarlet bringing all the units together. Finally, Skarlet admits that maybe, just maybe, Corruptors are going to be required. That was it. That was the breaking point, though. Where at some point the Hydra's just, there's too many storms. The army's too strong. Neve has too much army supply. The carriers, wow, they fly off into Narnia. Like, the Zealots trying to hold the door. The Zerglings getting a surprisingly good surround. They have +2, 3, well, they have 2/2 upgrades now. +3 ranged attack is the only one. The Changeling wades through the storm for a split second. The Zerglings are breaking through against just the +2 attack Zealots. 2 more carriers yanked out. Oh, needs look at the other way. The storms in return, but the carriers have been removed from the map. At least the ones on this side of things. The carriers sniped the base to the 12 o'clock. Skarlet moving down to defend. Interceptors may be taken out. The Vipers, only 2 of them remain and have enough energy for at least 1 abduct apiece. But, well, at some point, clearly the shift queue will be abduct. Well, get over. The recall actually hits the carrier. Apparently, it's still in recall, even if it gets abducted mid-recall. It just took too long. Neeb is trying to expand down the center. There's a rich vaccine base, which means half the total gas, but he can mine it twice as quickly. Oh wait, no, 50% more quickly now. They nerfed how quickly it mines. The intern in all his wisdom and all his glory. But it is still the same amount, which is a very key point. A lurker gets behind the mineral line. Neeb moving forward, the storms on the ramp. And you shall not pass.
Well, so I have
Neeb
a
holding.
anomaly, but I'm not a
Once again.
And please don't ask me what the difference is, because I don't.
Scarlet trying to get a full surround. How many corruptors? 0. 53 Hydralisks. Wow! Is there enough storm? The time warp. Hydra's dying by the dozen. Thankfully, there's even more dozens behind him. The charge lot's working through. Scarlet mining out the gold base. Neeb now mining with half of his probes on the freshest one. Takes out the hatchery. Scarlet is supply blocked at 182 over 176. She lost too many overseers in the front of the fight. And that's actually kind of a huge... No, don't make 13 more drones. What are you doing? Are there even enough mineral patches to mine? Well, if Scarlet expands to what would usually be considered need space... And, well, the creep front is oppressive right now. The Spore, Kronos, a Spore is coming together. There's only one storm. But those Hydras, all of them could potentially die to. Neeb. Oh, yanks in a carrier, lunges to kill it. A pretty sad storm there. He's been using energy recharge. He's clearly played. And I wouldn't be surprised if he's still top Grandmaster, just not regularly competing in tournaments. But very clearly, honestly, some of the most interesting and original, while still competent Protoss on the new patch I've seen so far. And clearly, just while we're ending up with a similar composition that many other Protoss prefer, this kind of more split style, having two different battle groups of Skytoss, sending out carriers, like carrier groups, quite literally, which is not a surprising strategy from the American, but is it effective in the long run against this many drones? It remains to be seen. 87 drones for Scarlet, who's maintained the income advantage for over 10 minutes. And that's a bit of an understatement. Mining 500 to 1,500 more resources per minute. Feedbacks on the Overseers. Trying to get something done with the Storm. The rocks that are... These are technically destructible rocks.
My time to shine.
In such an awkward place that most players don't even realize it. But Neeb now has a Templar Archon. He has Dark Templar, Archons, and Charge Lots. And this must be respected. You pretty much need lurkers or an overwhelming amount of Hydras to deal with this. And that could potentially leave the northern flank open for attack. Or it could distract Neeb enough that he ends up losing another carrier as Scarlet knocks it out of the sky. But the storms catch the Hydras between a rock and a hard place. The Hydras on their own, it's just Archons. And on creep, the Hydras should be able to out-micro them. Neeb has +2 ground weapons and +3 air attack, and that's it. Whereas Scarlet is busy filling in pretty much maximum Zerg upgrades. She's got 3-3-3 on the ground and most of the way through 2-2 in the air, despite not building a single air unit besides Overseers so far, which do technically benefit from flyer carapace, by the way. Fun fact. Not that that helps against Storm. A single carrier, but there's 2 Hydras for anti-air. So the carrier will just kill, almost kill the Viper. Meanwhile, the Charbot's over to the left side. Neeb keeping the pressure on, and Scarlet has barely any minerals left. She's got 5,000 gas, but almost no minerals. Recalling the Archons with the army directly into the lurker fire, but manages to evade it for long enough. Moving up to the north side, Scarlet in the natural with the Zerglings. Neeb over to the left with the charge lots, eviscerating the drones and hitting the base to the north. Scarlet could be losing 2 bases, while Neeb may end up losing all of his. The DTs are warped in to defend. The Zerglings getting cleaned up. Scarlet does not have the economy to rebuild. The Vipers pop by the feedback. The Mothership helping out. 39 kills and counting. The Tempest shelling the Hydras, the Mothership finishing them off, the Chargebot still doing damage. There's not really any reinforcements because Scarlet has upgraded her Corruptors incredibly well. And now the only issue is she hasn't paid for any of them. She has 0 Corruptors and 2-2 in the skies. But you know what's even better? 10 more Hydras. At least for dramatic effect. Scarlet, with this Lair Tech Zerg, just enough lurkers to hold down some bases, but not enough of them, as the gold base has now been denied. Neve is mining. This is Neve's only really mining base. These are the only mineral patches. The storms on the lurkers melting through them, and the Mothership will not be denied. Finally, the shields are stripped away. Some DTs are warped in. There is detection, but it slows things down for a bit. The Time Warp is used. Active cloaking. Tep is still shelling. The Archon helping out. The Vipers are here. Parasitic Bomb on the Mothership, I think, at this point. Meanwhile, they're yanking the carrier one step at a time. Eventually gets it. No detection for the lurkers, but the Tempest are doing terrible, terrible damage. 30 kills, 26 kills, 54 kills at the Mothership. Neve, with 3 units, is driving back the entirety of the Zerg, but the lurkers that survive will slice through the rest of the economy. 30 left. GG. It's over.
I'm trying to help.
Neve may not have realized how flat broke Scarlet was. But I seriously doubt she was going to be broken. Oh, he lost the Mothership. The Mothership died as he typed the G's. And after 26 minutes, 200 Hydralisks. Only 2 Motherships, including that last one. Neve, a light in the darkness for Protoss, snuffed out by the overwhelming blood of Zerg, just drowning the field in units. Scarlet, it's not about how many units you lose. It's about how many you can replace them with. What a game. A true North American representation from the 2 best players.
Pick your hero.
Welcome back to a series so censored, even YouTube subscribed. In today's video, the UK has introduced controversial new rules that force YouTube to change their algorithm. According to the changes, they will be forced to prioritize quote-unquote approved news sources and deboost independent media and the rest of our channels in the algorithm. The proposed rules will remove the choice from the people and destroy the views and revenue of a lot of your favorite creators. YouTube themselves have responded, begging creators and viewers to fight back against these changes. Twitter has erupted in chaos, absolutely furious at the insane level of censorship. Asmongold has responded, comparing this to North Korea with the level of control. He claims YouTube will be powerless against these changes unless the people fight back. People are questioning if this is related to politics and the spread of viral clips that make the government look bad. Asmon points to the viral incident in Birmingham where a man was assaulted by a group of people and the officers arrested the victim instead. Bruh. Hassan is back crashing out at liberals. He claims former President Biden and Kamala Harris should be put in international jail for funding wars overseas. A subscriber instantly points out that his taxes also fund wars overseas, and he has a complete meltdown. Hassan is now begging streamer NMP for a collab with Asmongold. NMP's chat responds disgusted at Hassan. NMP instantly white knights, claiming he's actually a really good guy.
Yeah, keep them. Those motherfuckers and murder those motherfuckers in the streets.
Subscribe to save the Legendary series and YouTube as a whole. Now let's begin. Right, welcome back to the Legendary series. It might be a bit of a scary day. Basically, YouTube is in big trouble now. It seems the UK is introducing new rules regarding censorship, and they're basically going to be prioritizing certain approved channels, right? They're approved news sources, and they're going to be deboosting other channels in the algorithm. So the people, the viewers, no longer have the power to choose what they actually want to watch, and you will be force-fed actual slop, right? We're not like meme slop, like actual slop, instead of the good slop that you're choosing to watch. So essentially what's going on is they want to make it so that you're forced to watch like the BBC or whatever, you know, CNN, Fox, slop equivalent you got in the UK instead of the legendary series, because, you know, I'm not approved media, of course. You can't have unbiased, factual, independent sources. We need to control the narrative completely. Now, the reason this is a big deal is the UK actually makes up a large audience of all of your favorite creators. So it doesn't matter if they're living in America or they're creating content from wherever, because their audience will be from the UK as well. Even my second largest audience is from the UK and Canada, after America, of course. So it's a pretty big deal for creators as well. I might randomly lose like 30% of my views and money, which is obviously not fun. So it all started here. YouTube is urging creators to respond to the proposed UK rules that says it could force the platform to prioritize some channels over others. The company warns that the changes could limit channel growth and reduce how often creator content is recommended. People responded, can't the UK government just leave everyone alone regardless of where they live? Yeah, this is the thing, that they're not just affecting people in the UK with this resolution. They're going to affect a bunch of random creators all across the world and the viewers who consume that content. Of course, YouTube is asking creators to back YouTube up. If not, YouTube will lose even more money. Yeah, I mean, obviously they're self-interested as well. They will lose a significant chunk of viewership from the UK as well. And in general, people will start hating them even more. But obviously, this is a good thing that we're both aligned on the same issue. Usually, a bunch of creators are against YouTube because they do stupid shit like remove dislikes or whatever, which nobody likes. But in this case, they're actually on the right side. The party is right, the party knows best. Don't listen to not party-approved content creators, because the party knows best, and the party is right. They're trying to control a foreign company through authoritarian means. What happened to your supposed freedom of speech? The internet is absolutely cooked. You're probably gonna be better off playing with sticks outside. People pointed out, doesn't it already put some channels before others? Growing on that platform is a nightmare, especially if they just decide to shadow ban folks. Yeah, so this is something that YouTube has been controversial for before as well, because we all know that some channels are artificially promoted, like all the fucking Jimmys on the planet. Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Fallon, Jimmy Mr. Beast, Jimmy McDonald, Jimmy Joma Jameson, who the fucking, like, nobody knows, right? They're always put at the top. Instantly you sign up to YouTube, you watch no videos, they're on the front page. You'll see some fucking slop PR friendly YouTuber, and everybody's annoyed at that. We already know this happens, but now it's going to get pushed to an even greater extent, and now YouTube is being forced to do it. They can't even approve their narratives because the UK government is now controlling that as well. In other words, we will tell you what to consume, and we will decide what you're allowed to think. We can't have people watching the legendary series. It's too powerful. It's too powerful. Right, so it turns out YouTube released a message to creators asking them to fight back. YouTube has alerted some creators to the changes it could make to their channel with the message headlined, "Proposed UK rules could control your feed. Keep YouTube yours." The message invites creators to learn information about the proposed rules and submit their responses to the government. Right, here we go. Here's the message they sent to creators, and we'll just break this down one by one. The UK government is running a public consultation called Watch the Space, a new strategic direction for UK media. We'll go through that as well. The proposals include mandatory changes to how content is discovered on YouTube. This could direct audiences away from your channel. As a UK creator, this directly impacts your future. Digital content discovery works best when driven by user choice, not legal requirements. This is a vital window for you to share your perspective before the consultation closes on 31st August 2026. Impact of the proposed rules. Proposed new rules include a mandatory prominence regime. This could require digital platforms like YouTube to prioritize and give a privileged position to traditional broadcasters like the BBC, ITV, and Channel 4 in user interfaces and recommendation feeds, potentially pushing your content out of sight. Dude, can you imagine fucking subscribing to Dan TDM to watch Minecraft videos? They fucking push that out of your feed, start putting BBC in there. No, you must consume the propaganda. No more Minecraft videos. Fuck you. Mandating prominence to traditional institutions will impact all other independent digital creators, production companies, and medias, including through your content downranked. Pushing this group forward means pushing everyone else downward. Mandatory prioritization of broadcasters would affect how your content reaches your audience, regardless of what your audience actually wants to see. Okay, so this is something we've been talking about a long time, where YouTube will basically fucking gaslight you and be like, oh yeah, no, yeah, your content is totally still being seen by everybody, and then you'll get a bunch of comments being like, hey dude, I haven't seen you in my feed despite the fact that I'm subscribed to you, I watch every single video, I like every video, I watch it all the way through, but it never appears in my feed. You've just been shadow banned out of nowhere. And YouTube will obviously fucking deny this, do some bullshit like that. So they have a part to play in this sort of like weird stuff where they don't actually show the viewer what they want to see, and they introduce their own sort of bullshit. But I guess it's going too far for them now, and the UK stepping in there, and they're like, we're actually the fucking Squid Game overlords. You can't come above us, you know? Reducing user exposure to diverse content and independent creators. Mandating prominence for established media networks would push the UK's diverse mix of independent journalists, educators, and digital-first businesses down the line. Threat to your reach and channel growth. Your ability to organically grow your community, generate views and revenue, and build a sustainable business is compromised if your content is hard to be discovered. So this is pretty obvious. If some fucking corporate loser is taking your spot in the recommendation feed, then you're not going to be able to grow as well. Undermining the creator-audience bond, the consultation repeatedly emphasizes trust in the context of legacy broadcasters, implying that digital-first voices are less credible, damaging the foundational trust that sustains the creator economy. Yeah, I mean, the whole point of YouTube is that you guys get to choose, right? You guys get to choose who you watch, and this is a platform that was built by a bunch of creators just fucking recording videos in their room, yapping or whatever. Very few...
The Disneyfication of Warcraft. Imagine if I have an opinion on this. Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy. Here we go.
World of Warcraft is one of the most tragic victims of the modern gaming industry that World of Warcraft is one of the most tragic victims of the modern gaming industry that brutally mishandles legendary IPs and turns them into shadows of their former self. It's a textbook example of you either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain. In its foundations, Warcraft established a certain look or aesthetic for itself that made it really stand out in a sea of other titles in the fantasy genre.
It had a hyper-masculine, badass look. It was so cool.
Notably, despite their clear influences from other games, the races of Warcraft had their own flair about them that you could only find in Warcraft or WoW. However, over the years, we have seen a devastating shift in tone, writing, and art direction that have turned WoW from this vast, gritty fantasy that did have a bit of whimsy here and there to a full-on Disney-fied version of its former self. Today, I want to talk a bit about how WoW lost its uniquely Warcraft identity.
They started having the game run by women and made for women. That's why.
Hello.
That's the reason why.
He'll be coming in 30 seconds.
It's that
Stay
simple.
Strong.
It's actually that simple. You might not like it.
Focusing mainly on art and aesthetics, and just have a bit of an honest discussion on what exactly went wrong and why it matters in the context of a changing, out-of-touch industry that has plunged many legendary franchises into an identity and aesthetic crisis. Before we get started, hi, my name is Angelica, and this is a video that I have been building up to for a while. It isn't a new discussion, but it's really important to me as somebody who grew up with Warcraft, and I am probably the way that I am. Previously on this channel, we have had several in-depth discussions. discussion on the race of Warcraft and certain aesthetic and tone shifts that have fundamentally changed how they were even from Warcraft 3 to Vanilla WoW, or even some things that have straight up ruined everything that was unique about a particular race. It hits hardest with the Night Elves, as we have seen, where they went from these savage men and women who fought with a brutality that even the orcs couldn't believe to, please don't hurt my queen. You can check this video out if you want to hear about it in more detail, but
because they got rid of Illidan. He was the only real one.
For me, this has sparked a wider discussion on where exactly WoW lost this weakness.
I'm sorry, but like, I mean, this is for dudes. This is absolutely for dudes. This is for guys 100. That's for guys right there. Dudes see this and they're like, oh, badass.
Warcraft essence, and how did we get to these Disney vibes? Honestly, you don't really have to do any in-depth analysis to see that there is a massive difference between even these images here, as if they come from totally different universes.
Absolutely.
Everyone looks so bubbly, kind. Even the rougher options of faces look so soft and clean. It's missing that bit of spice that we saw with...
It used to be a savage fucking game, and now it's just not like that at all anymore. It's just
models, and this bubbly, well-rounded and smooth kind of look really goes towards how the rest of the world looks as well. Some people suggest that this is just the natural way that it's progressed with these newer models, but I would argue that it definitely could have taken a different way if they wanted it. Just look at these unused human models and
look at that guy. You've got fucking Rob Zombie and Tinnitus right there. Like, these dudes look fucking badass.
How much they resemble their Warcraft 3 selves.
Yeah.
There was already a shift in tone from the start of Vanilla World of Warcraft, but at that point it wasn't anything too egregious, even though it would have been nice to see them explore this particular look for humans.
They kind of did a little bit. The Kultirans are this general style, but I'm sad we don't have one of these.
Intimidating, sharper look, and something that made them stand out from humans in other fantasy games.
Yeah.
Warcraft 3 was a defining game for the overall look that made WoW so great. They established a very interesting balance between the masculine and the feminine that worked in harmony to amplify one another. By this, I mean
they also made feminine characters that were badass. Like Toronto, like I really didn't like. This is like a personal like pet peeve with me with Warcraft is that I really didn't like, and I think it was patch 5.2. This was in the Pandaria, where Varian Wrynn had to like talk Tyrande down from like being, you know, like aggressive and problematic in the war with the Horde in Pandaria. I thought it was just so disrespectful to the character, and I was like, this bitch is like thousands of years old. She's led wars against demons. Like, what do you mean Varian Wrynn is like telling her to calm down and to act normal? It just seemed so disrespectful to the character. I mean, she's supposed to be like the goddess of Elune, or like the avatar of Elune at that point, right? The moon goddess. Like, what the fuck? Making Night Elves the Alliance in the WoW and defang the Night Elves? Well, there used to be 4 factions. It was the Night Elves, the Undead, the Orcs, and then the Tauren and the Trolls were inside of them, right? The small horde. And then it was the Alliance, which was the humans, the gnomes, and the dwarves, right? This is the way it used to be. And that was in Warcraft 3. And they simplified it in WoW, and I do think that it caused problems. And for a while, it wasn't a problem, because Sylvanas kept the undead separate from the Horde, right? And I think they did a good job with that. But after she was gone and they changed her character, it just got 1,000 times worse. Wait, and yeah, and also like Jaina was a badass. Sylvanas was a badass. Tyrande was a badass. Like, I'm trying to think if there were any other like major female characters in Warcraft 3. I think Maiev was a badass even. Like, she did get hit. At the end of the day, she got his ass. And Vashj, yeah, Lady Vashj as well. Yeah, no, you're right, because she was working with, you know, fucking Kael'thas and them. And no, you're right. And so, like, you had all of these characters that were great, and they just, it's like they can't write characters like that anymore. It's very cringe.
Into the side of fantasy that is effortlessly, universally appealing. Strong, believable characters, flawed, but each with their own personalities and their own motivations when it comes to the greater fight for the good of their own race or...
If Blizzard was brave, they would have another time skip where we go back in time and we help Arthas kill everyone in Scrapland, and then we go to Northrend, and with the combined power of the Alliance and the Horde, we help him vanquish Mal'Ganis and take vengeance for Lordaeron, and we set the timeline right. Because Jaina and Uther were wrong completely, and Arthas was right about everything.
Whatever cause they support. A very mature approach that gave a lot of room for growth and a future for Warcraft. It reminds me of how the Lord of the Rings, particularly the movies, are so appealing to literally everyone. They never needed to overcompensate in a way that a lot of modern games and fantasy in general tends to do nowadays. For example, did you know that in total, if you take all of the main female characters and put their screen time together, you don't even get a full hour. And
no wonder this.
Despite this, The Lord of the Rings has a massive female fan base.
And the other reason too is that a lot of women want to date a guy that's like Aragorn, right? Or like Faramir. Like that's really, I mean, this is the, that is really, I think for a lot of girls, that's peak masculinity. And like, yeah, younger girls like Legolas, but like I'm talking about like, you know, older women, like you're a 35-year-old woman, you know, you're gonna be like, oh my god, Aragorn is amazing, right? And so, or Boromir, maybe, right? And so like, that's it.
You can look at the Rings of Power and how they massacred Galadriel's character to where she's no longer a strong, wise elf, but an insufferable girl boss who behaves like those main characters from the Disney shows. Everything feels over-exaggerated, overplayed, and unnatural. Warcraft had a place for everybody, not because they had to fit someone in to meet a quota, but because the world naturally formed in this way. In the RTS, for example, the Night Elves, despite being such a wild and brutal race, are actually a matriarchal society, and little things like even the in-game call-outs are done with a female voice, as opposed to the other races that have male voice call-outs. Modern WoW has a lot of flaws when it comes to writing, but particularly female characters.
And I think that was another component, is that like Malfurion and Tyrande were like viewed as equals in a lot of ways, right? Like Malfurion was like a arc druid that was trained by Cenarius, who was like a demigod, and then Tyrande was like the goddess of the moon, the priestess of the moon, that was imbued by power from Elune, which is like their god. So like there truly was equality there. I don't know what the hell happened.
So forced, unnatural, and like their motivation doesn't come from a genuine place, but instead it's all just sort of performative. Sylvanas went from the tragic survivor of the Lich King, the powerful Banshee Queen that unified the Forsaken, to a cartoony villain. The rest of the writing across the world, coupled with the cadence with which female characters speak, is just, it's Disney.
Thoradin's Wall? Yes.
Then the stories and legends I read as a child were.
This is an infamous example. The way that it looks like a...
Compare that to whenever they're sailing up at the end of Fellowship of the Ring with like the two fucking, those two different statues. Like the aura used to be there, and now it's fucking gone. That's the boost I need. Is she blind? She's blind and disabled.
Poorly made machinima in the early days, and to be fair, even better.
This is so terrible.
So the Alliance and Horde could wage war in Khazad.
By the way, this is an official cinematic, and it gets completely mogged by 15-year-old videos on Warcraft movies. It's not even close.
You'll never understand.
But it's that overplayed style of narration that is used to tell you about history that is somehow relevant to the plot. The shades that she's wearing are also kind of throwing me off. We get two supposedly strong female characters here, but their dialogue is so poorly written and it's delivered in such a strange way that I can't help but just cringe at it. There was talk about this sort of thing happening a lot, not just in WoW, but in other games in general, in an attempt to make games more appealing to women. This...
Yeah, that's exactly it. That's exactly... That's the beginning of the video.
Of what is supposed to be appealing to women. So, there's a group of people that never really had interest in video games to begin with, not the case. An out-of-touch entity that has all the power, but none of the creativity to bring Warcraft back to its former glory. Why is it that in order to appeal to female gamers, we need to infantilize the dialogue and the writing to Disney levels? Things like this are straight up insulting to everybody's intelligence. I wonder how it passed quality checks. Is there nobody there that listens back to this and says, hey, maybe this is a little bit silly?
It's a culture of toxic positivity. Nobody's going to talk down the inclusion of a female, black, disabled, one-armed character. It's not going to happen, because doing so would put your job at risk, because even criticizing something like that would make you seem like you're a racist or there's something wrong with you. So what happens inside of the company is that there's a culture of silence and a culture of toxic positivity where these woke things just continue to get worse and worse and more overt as time goes on. And I think that the result of that is that you have characters that are just completely unlikable, annoying, they don't resonate with anybody, and it's because nobody at the company can tell these people no, because if you do, then you go to HR for being a Nazi. That's the problem. That's the issue. And I think it's very clearly what happened is that Warcraft had, I think, still a pretty serious dark story, and what really killed it was the sexual assault allegations. I really feel like after that happened, the entire narrative of the game, like that, we got Dragonflight after Shadowlands. Dragonflight was a profoundly different vibe story than anything that we had before that. And, you know, they replaced all of the women in bikinis with the fucking fruit. They changed a bunch of achievements for Valentine's Day, where it's you don't have to do certain things with female characters anymore. It's just basically they got Me Too'd so bad because the company did have bad weirdos there. They did have those bad weirdos in the company, but the problem is that those bad weirdos were the ones writing the main story, and the people that replaced them weren't able to write their own stories that were that good, and they had to overcompensate for it. I think that's what happened. McCree got renamed in Overwatch. Yeah, there's that too. You're right.
This is a little side note that goes beyond World of Warcraft and shows you just how much the industry does not take female characters or female gamers seriously, and how much they misunderstand us. A recent example is God of War Laufey, which is such an unfortunate thing for me because a game along the lines of Heavenly Sword or a God of War game with a female protagonist does sound like it's something that would appeal to me, like I would be the target audience for that kind of game. But when I watched the showcase and heard little bits of her dialogue and what she was saying, I felt confused.
The problem is that all of the fantasy stories now, if you watch the Willow show, if you watch Rings of Power, if you watch The Witcher, it's all the same. It is. It's all the same, and with video games, it's the same as well. There's not as much of a unique style to this at all.
I'm no normal, but if we gotta be fighting this fight,
it's a huge problem.
Side by side.
They're gone. The battle starts in 5. Just be careful. 4, 3, 2, 1. Where are we anyway? All you need to do is capture the mission area. Got it?
I call it the everyone.
Stories for little girls? No, they're not. They're stories for quirky user millennials.
Why does she have to be so quirky? And why is she so afraid of or embarrassed by a true fantasy setting where people speak and act like they would in a serious, mature fantasy setting? Why is there a gelatinous cube named Max? Where in Greek mythology did we have something like this? The creation of these cartoony girl bosses or quirk chunguses show that they don't really understand what made other fantasy titles so popular with female gamers.
There's also, like, I think that women, this is, again, I'm really not an expert on women, if you can't tell. But I think that women do really, truly value sincerity, and I think that the constant quirkiness and removal of any sort of serious nature of something is off-putting. It's off-putting to women and to men. And I think that they value it because it's emotionally engaging. It is. And so, like, and I've noticed this before, is that, like, whenever you talk to a girl in a way that's, like, more serious, oftentimes it can be more effective than if you add emojis at the end of every single sentence and you know, like, put raffle or, like, LOL at the end of everything. Right? I think it's true. Like, they don't really like that as much. I mean, there's some girls that like it. It's not like they don't like it at all. But I think that really that type of, it's, and the reason why I think that, you know, I'm gonna go So, I think that women are more biologically engineered to value sincerity. Because they have to, because the men that weren't sincere to them left them with a baby and they died. I think they're biologically wired to value sincerity more and in a unique way versus men. Bro, you're so dumb, I'm sorry. Okay. That's just what I'm making all of this up. I have no evidence for this. I have no foundation for this. I literally just invented this in my head.
Now you do the same for me, Wee.
But that's nothing.
Look at things like Skyrim or even Elden Ring as like a really small example. They are games that are just completely themselves. Every character fits naturally into their setting. There is no unnecessary comic relief to make female characters more relatable or less awkward, and there's no Disney-style over-narration of events to make sure that girls will understand what's going on. Those games are just good, and that is why everybody plays them. You don't have to overcompensate at every turn with cute and whimsical characters to get girls to play the game. I'm gonna say something.
Well, and that's another thing. It's like, oh, we want to get girls to play the game. How do we do it? Okay, so this is what you have to do. So you have to add in. Okay, so you want to get like a little cute like stuffed animal thing, and then you have to put it in the game. Because girls, they love it because their brains are like the size of an egg, right? And they're stupid, so you have to show them like a stuffed animal, and they're like, oh my god, it's so cute, and then they're all gonna play your game, bro. It's so easy, dude. That's all you have to do.
It's that performative male feminism has majorly contributed to the industry's skewed and out-of-touch view of female gamers. When this sort of thing receives any bit of criticism, you have the white knights come out and say, oh
my god, how cringe.
Weak men, fragile masculinity,
also, like, the concept about this is like, it's so... It's so stupid to me because, like, who cares whether somebody else like this thinks it's masculine or not? Like, why would any guy who's reading this is not going to be like, oh my god, that Jared doesn't think I'm strong. I guess I have to change my opinion. Like, it's just it's so female consensus coded that it's obvious.
This sort of thing. Okay, if you take actual incels out of the equation, which nobody really takes them seriously, the truth is that a female protagonist isn't the problem. If that were the case, so many massive franchises wouldn't have even been half as successful as they are.
Didn't we just have Resident Evil Requiem come out and it's really good? And Grace wasn't sexualized at all in that game. She was attractive, sure, but like it's not like she was sexualized, and nobody even talked or complained about that for a second. And that movie came out this year, so it's all bullshit. Like you don't even need to go back and look at like an old video game like Tomb Raider or Nier Automata. Like just look at a few months ago.
The problem is with modern developers that will take a legendary, well-established IP and use it as leverage to sell their own games with mediocre. Let's be honest, nobody would buy this if it didn't have the World of Warcraft label.
And that's exactly.
Not focusing on the extreme that deflecting valid criticisms and concerns when it comes to things like this. Nobody who's normal has any real problem with a female game protagonist, but we also shouldn't reward mediocrity just because the protagonist is a woman.
I do think to an extent people have kind of like they've poisoned the well by doing it so many times. And positioning the female protagonist as being superior to the male protagonist in like a bunch of ways, and like just the way that the characters are written, etc. I do think that they have poisoned the well. That there are some people that will just like the moment they see a woman, they're like, oh my no. Right, and the thing is that like yeah, it's stupid to do that, but at the same time, it's not a surprise. Because if you keep showing people that same pattern, then that's what they're going to expect to see.
Male feminism has been incredibly damaging to so many studios, including Blizzard, who did have a lot of skeletons in the closet of their own in real life, but they thought that it would be reasonable to turn women into fruit as compensation. Yeah. I've asked this before, and I will ask this again. What message does this send about women's bodies, especially in a mature fantasy setting? It's hardly a children's...
Well, it's again, it's people that don't want to have women be sexualized at all. But the problem is never, and this is the main issue that people miss with sexualization. So sexualizing women in a way that is inappropriate. Like, for example, some woman is just dressed in like a normal clothes and people are trying to take photos of her in certain positions, upskirt photos. Like basically, it's very obvious, maybe it at least is to me, it's very obvious when a woman is trying to be seen for being sexy versus not. Like, it's about the way that you dress. It's about the way that you present yourself. It's, you know, like if you're laying down, taking a photo of yourself in a bikini like that, you're trying to be perceived and appreciated for your body. That's the way it works. That doesn't mean it's okay to sexually assault somebody, of course not. But the idea there is very different than somebody who's trying to like stare at a girl at a gym, right? And every, like, I don't know about you guys, but like every normal guy kind of knows this, right? Like we all kind of know this, where it's like very clearly it's a big difference between, you know, there's girls like, you know, on Twitch, for example, there are girls that just sit around and all they do is dance around with like their boobs out. It's very obvious that sexualizing this person is the purpose of the stream, versus other people that this, you know, this is a girl that just plays video games. All she does is play video games, and all of her top clips are her walking away so people can get shots of her ass. That's weird. It is. It's weird. And so I think that normal guys understand that there's a really big difference between the unwanted, voyeuristic sexualization that's inappropriate and violates people's privacy versus sexualization whenever women are dressing in a way and presenting themselves like, hey, look at me, I'm really hot. It's like the difference, well, I'm gonna do one more. It's the difference between like seeing a girl in a bikini, right, versus seeing a girl in lingerie. People say, well, why do women like one and not the other? They get embarrassed for one and not the other. It's because they're prepared to be seen in a bikini. They're not prepared to be seen in lingerie. It's about the intent. And I think people, most, like, am I wrong? Guys, like, we understand this, right? We get it? It's not the same. But there's some guys, I think weirdos, that just don't get it. And it's very disappointing because a lot of it, and I think even like guys misinterpreting signals, etc. Like, oh yeah, a guy, oh I thought she was into me, I leaned in for a kiss and she got upset. Like, that's not really the end of the world, right? It's really not. Like, I mean, it's mistakes, that's life. But at the end of the day, I think that you need to have a degree of like honesty and also a degree of just like understanding. Yeah, it is now. Yeah, and I think that's the way a lot of I think that's the way a lot of women feel too. Like I'm not a big woman understander, but that's what I believe.
Game, if we're honest. I mean, most of the people that are playing World of Warcraft,
can't read the room.
At the least,
I disagree that dudes can't read the room in a lot of cases. I think that dudes don't read the room because they want to engage in the behavior that's degenerate and damaging to women, but they want to pretend like they don't understand it while they're doing it so they can feel like they have the moral ability to do it. I think that many men, if a guy was doing that to your sister or your daughter, you would be losing your fucking mind and you would want to beat the shit out of them. But whenever you're doing it, you're gonna say, oh well, she's asking for it, oh well, whatever else, right?
Would be in their mid-20s, but I'd say the average is like 30s, 40s and above. And this is just part of the overall problem, but going back to modern or retail WoW, when the harmonious masculine and feminine elements of the game were neglected, toned down, and stripped back for a more family-friendly version of the game or something that would appeal to more people, it resulted in a kind of a clean, hard look or feel for the game. Try to make something that appeals to everybody, it then appeals to nobody. There is the added issue.
They also made the furry races. The furry races are weird.
Issue of too many things going on at once. There are too many races. There are too many flashy mounts and toys. Too many shop items, and it all creates visual noise. This is the backdrop, but in the foreground, the way that the characters are animated.
She's actually more right about this than she knows. I don't know how much of the game she plays, but like, one of the big problems is that, like, nobody cares about a lot of these mounts, right? Nobody remembers all of these mounts. And so the problem is that, like, I mean, this is, well, that's the War Mammoth from, Dalaran, and that's the Horde version because it has the red around it. Or that's the mount from Sepulchre, or that's the yak that you're able to buy. There is so many items in the game now, and so many things in the game, that, like, the novelty of seeing Ashes of Alar is just gone because there's 50,000 versions of Ashes of Alar. I think that's the main issue.
Heavy weapons.
How they move, how they run.
Yeah, the ZG Tiger stood out because there wasn't 50 other fucking tigers.
Spells, etc. is so overdone, and for me, it plays like some cartoon or something that isn't really that serious. I think it's important to note just how impactful this change is. We went from these more grounded and down-to-earth animations to the more over-the-top variety that, perhaps because of what I'm used to, feels very unnatural and frantic. Recently, Rockbrandor did a video about why WoW isn't immersive anymore. Just on that conversation, a lot of these new locations with the latest expansions, for me, are a little hard to appreciate with just how much is going on. It's not that these places aren't beautiful. There is a certain charm there, but I think that World of Warcraft is a game that greatly benefits from minimalism where possible in terms of world design. It is so much easier to get immersed in a simple, dark forest where the environment is
It's massively over-designed. This problem started in Warlords of Draenor, and like every single square foot of the world has like 3 different functions. I think it's a huge problem. Like, as I said before, like, this is what I've always had my opinion as. Classic WoW, if Classic WoW was S tier, nothing else was even A tier. It was just so much the superior version of the game that everything else just sucks.
This is real fire! Limited but effective components that get across how you're supposed to feel about this place and what it represents, as opposed to these massive, overblown, overly detailed locations.
I mean, it was a cool reveal to see this, but she's right that it's over-designed. I think weapons are a really great example of that. If you look at the simplicity of a weapon like Soul Cleaver from Black Temple, and then you compare it to some of the new weapons that have like 50 different pieces of ornate markings on them, it's just over-designed. It's way too over-designed. Like, a lot of things in WoW now, you know what it feels like? Did you guys ever have, like, the first time you used Photoshop, where you, like, type text, and then you add in every filter under the text, and then the text looks really weird and stupid? I think that's kind of what happened with WoW, is that the design of the game has every text filter on at the same time.
Where your eyes kind of don't know what to focus on in order to properly appreciate the setting. It's kind of a shame for the better designed parts of the game also, because this just completely clashes with it and takes away from any good art that's created in modern World of Warcraft. Just completely overshadowed by silliness and a general lack of direction. I think that the true disintegration started with Draenor when they had the catastrophic changes in character models that all but wiped the core identities of many of the races of Azeroth. But as time went on, I think that the Disney element was melded together with Fortnite.
Dragonflight was the end. Dragonflight was it.
Massive and game-changing influence all across the industry, especially with their specific approach to monetization. What started out with a simple skin shop and then turned into the battle pass where you could additionally earn currency, later grew into something that featured all kinds of things, including celebrity cameos, TV show cameos, and other games. So when you go into a Fortnite lobby, everyone is just some different looking thing. There's no rhyme or reason, no harmony, but for a game like Fortnite, this is fine. It's a battle royale, you're in, you're out, it's not that deep. I don't think anybody really cares about Fortnite lore or keeps up with it, unless they're like 6 or 7 years old. And to me, that's what a lot of World of Warcraft looks like now. I think Transmog was a good idea at its conception, but also with all of the quirky cosmetics and things that don't really fit.
It's fucking retarded. Look at this. This is stupid. I don't want to look at this. Like, it's just dumb.
Fantastic!
It's not the game that we used to have, man. It's just not. Like, if you can, like, the vibe, the style, everything is totally different. Nothing about it is appealing. It's not. It's just stupid.
Warcraft in its original sense,
like
cities and hubs can now look a little bit like a Fortnite lobby, just with all of the flashy mounts, new races, and...
It's actually crazy to say that the cities in WoW look like Fortnite lobbies now. That is fucking brutal. Oh my god.
Everything else in between. I think Dragonflight was the next major Disney-esque blow to Warcraft, something that really pushed it over the edge into a more immature fantasy setting.
Yeah,
People often misunderstand why there is still such a great appreciation for Warcraft in its earliest iterations, or World of Warcraft from vanilla to about WoW. But
Your parents named you that?
My chosen family did.
I'm not judging.
Chosen family?
It's
Who'd
cool.
you choose to be a family?
Whoa,
What's
in the
that?
queer community, yeah, you don't always get to maintain your most close relatives, your blood relatives. So
It almost feels like a cult. Excommunicate yourself from the non-believers so you are easier to control. Kind of scary how a lot of this stuff overlaps.
like
Well,
you
did they
build.
dismiss you?
No.
Well, sounds like you maintain them.
I do not speak with my parents.
You chose. They did not choose.
Yeah.
Their decisions have made our relationship what it is today.
This is exactly what people in cults say. I want to maintain a thing, but they do not want to send with me to this other thing. So obviously, they only raised me. I just met these people, and we share the same virtues and values we get from social media. So obviously, I side with them over the people that actually raised me and changed my diaper and made me who I am today.
They chose extremism over their child.
Cutting off your family is the most extreme thing you can do, and yet, again, the Trump derangement syndrome, the cult-like behavior of agree with everything I do top to bottom, or else I can't affiliate with you. Which is sad because I have buddies from
a mild job. Just due to his career, had to leave California and go to Texas. And I don't think he was ever very political, but he did like a lot of things over there with 2A and the freedom and just everything. How like, oh, I was always taught to villainize the right. But I kind of agree with him a lot. He would say some things that were kind of positive about Trump on social media. A lot of his longtime friends and families, because this guy's Mexican, would say, I don't even know you anymore. You went to Texas, now you're over. I gotta cut you off because you believe these things. It's like, what the heck? I'm just telling you about my lived experience, and yet because it doesn't align with all their far left-leaning values, we have to excommunicate you.
Okay, so it's the blue hair. Got it. Okay. Which usually qualifies towards more extreme people. Usually, what's their extremism?
I saw online someone said it was like a video of someone at a high-class like pool party. It's like looked like everybody's all wearing like, you know, white linen pants or bikinis, and everybody's looking very classy. And they say, funny how the more money you make, the less people with blue hair you meet. And it was sad because I was thinking about it. I'm like, you know what? Me living in LA, you meet a lot of what do you call it, septum piercing people. You meet a lot of people with weird purple, pink, blue hair. When I got to a place that has more affluent people, it's almost not even there. And when you do see them, they stick out like a sore thumb. You're like, okay, this person does not fit their surroundings. And obviously they're being judged right now.
Their extremes are just not very minority inclusive, despite what the...
What is the largest minority? Who is the biggest minority? Not biggest. The smallest minority on the planet. What percentage of the planet Earth is white? It's blonde hair, blue eyes, red hair. Most people think it's like 80% of the planet. It's like 5% of the planet. And in a couple years, it'll be even less. The idea that you're not inclusive of minorities, you are the minority. What do you mean? We need to be inclusive of a country that has more births and is a larger percentage of the entire planet. Like, these people have been so poisoned against themselves, they don't even understand math anymore.
They might say, their actions say otherwise.
What's their actions that are so extreme? They kill minorities?
They're not helping them.
Or not.
Whoa. Why do we have to? That's why I love Caleb Hammer. He's like, why is it my responsibility to solve the world's problems? We are not. We should go now, no? Even Elon, like, I'm not wealthy beyond my imagination. I do not need to feed everybody that makes less money than me. But they somehow see Elon Musk and say, hey, look, he's advancing civilization. He's creating all those electric cars you want. He's going to space like you've always wanted. But somehow, because he's not feeding the needy and he has the crime of being white, he's a bad guy.
Helping's extreme? But what's helping?
We've had extended conversations about what politics looks like in the world, and when they discuss it, the things that they say or choose not to say are pretty detrimental.
You're not parroting my Reddit talking points. I gotta excommunicate you because you're a bad guy. That is insane how much social media algorithms can plague people's brains now. And before TikTok became American, got sold to America, it was all like China's doing. Because remember, TikTok would push all this LGBT propaganda, all these ratchet content on TikTok. But their version of TikTok, Douyin, would promote things like respecting your teacher, learning a very difficult skill, aerobic activity, learning about stuff. It was all positive things the next generation would be considered conservative values, essentially. But for America, your version, it's all ratchet behavior because we want you guys to not be in the nuclear family. We want you guys to be into ratchet stuff. We want you guys to be robbing each other and thinking it's funny because it's the easiest way to win a war without ever going into a hot conflict.
Time to see if your boy Gambit can steal us a win.
That doesn't sound like extremism.
Yeah.
You know what the word extremism means?
Yeah.
What do they do that's extreme?
There was once upon a time when Kamala came out with...
Kamala, thank you. You're gonna get...
Get ready.
I remember all the news news outlets called her Kamala. He was always Kamala. And all of a sudden, then you made you a racist person to say, not say Kamala. And it's like, most people didn't know. People would have her on their station and call her Kamala and not even know any better. It doesn't make us a bad person to find you irrelevant. But the sad thing is she said you didn't agree with Kamala or Kamala, despite the fact that even she doesn't know how to pronounce her name. Again, all this stuff is empty virtue signaling.
They canceled for that.
She was talking about how our current president wanted to have generals more like dictators of old.
Okay.
And I asked my parents what they felt about that, and they said,
did he genuinely say, I want our generals to be like dictators, or did some left-wing outlet loosely translate what they want him to say to villainize him, and they say, okay, we don't believe CNN's lies, we don't believe MSNBC's telling us if you get it, you get the vaccine, you don't spread it, you're never gonna be harmed from it ever again. Maybe we don't believe a word they say after that. But here she is saying, if you don't believe in the word of our Lord and Savior Kamala, I can't be your family anymore.
old.
Okay.
And I asked my parents what they felt about that, and they said they needed the context. And I said, under what context is it okay?
It's not the context of what makes it okay, it's the context of, did it even happen?
To like want
Well,
Hitler's
maybe
general.
they wanted to understand if he was doing his classic rifting or if he was being an actual dictator, which would be bad. But we know, if you follow politics, which I assume you do, he is a rifting guy, and you take like a grain of salt with pretty much everything, including saying peace is close in Iran, which I think you would agree with.
And also, like, threatening to nuke them, an entire population.
Exactly.
Yeah. And that's arguing from a point of power. The funny thing is, I remember I did a video about, peace in Iran. Hormuz Strait is open. But by the time the video was going to release, we had already been bombing them again. It's like, yeah, you don't take them at face value. But the sad thing is, it's like, what was Trump doing wrong? Why'd you cut off your family? They don't know. And sad to say is, one, the people are just incredibly financially illiterate, where the reason Caleb Hammer has a show in the first place is because you got idiots out there so financially illiterate they don't understand, and she posted proof. She's regarded saying, under Biden, her payment plan was $32. Oh, I'm only paying $32. I owe $145. But once Trump goes in office, it's $658, but she now owes $289,000, meaning to say, yeah, your monthly payments were down one, but your total debt amount skyrocketed, not to mention the fact that you can still do a minimum payment of $10 a month. They want you to pay it off in a timely manner and not be in a lifelong amount of debt. But the idea that they see 32 less than 658 makes Trump a bad guy. No, they're financially illiterate. That's why they have this show. But also, she is not the only person out there. You got Savannah Craven out there interviewing people about LGBT rights. And again, they got such deep Trump derangement syndrome. They don't mind going on camera on the internet and proudly displaying their own ignorance.
Do you think that gays have lost any rights under the conservative administration that we have right now?
And what I would always tell people, and I wouldn't try to shove it in their faces, I got a lot of liberal friends. If they're so worried about Donald Trump, they're in the LGBT community. What rights did you lose during the first Trump administration?
It's good to see you again.
If you don't have any concrete numbers or laws you can tell me about, stop being worried about the second Trump administration, because maybe it's all just fear-mongering that you're hearing.
Absolutely. What rights have they lost?
I know what you mean.
I
Battle
think
starts in 5, 4, 3, 2,
you're quite nervous.
1.
It's all good.
It's not pressure, it's just saying, okay, cool, take your time. We know how it is to be put on the spot.
It took us
It's
a long
okay.
time to learn that our powers are
No. Sorry. If you're done, that's totally fine. Have a good day.
And she's being a million times friendlier than anybody on the left would be on one of these like man on the street interviews. Not to mention the fact that she was wearing this rainbow dress, probably trying to disarm them to make them think, oh, this is going to be a pro-liberal movement interview, not essentially a gotcha piece. And I'm not saying this is unnecessarily a gotcha piece, like trying to make it look stupid, but just giving her a platform to say, what rights did your side lose during the Trump